I'm Sand,
I'm Holmes. We are Team Murder.
and this is our Thermal Expansion 4 tutorial series. The fuck did you do? Hey guys, Sand here from Team Murder. It's been a long time, but I recently just decided to start getting going again, so I'll be continuing in the tutorial. As I mentioned when I was originally going through it, I would definitely be having to come back and look again when they made changes or released ducts. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to be going all the different kinds of ducts. One thing that should be noted, I can't really show them here just because of how I got the setup. There's a new servo system. I'll be going into it with probably right at the beginning, so that'll be the first thing I'll cover. Then I will be covering item ducts. You've got your standard item duct, your glowing item duct that makes things go faster, the warp, which we'll go into more detail, and then fluctuating, which can transfer power as well. Then you've got your fluid ducts, you got your temperate, can't handle extreme temperatures, hardened, can handle extreme temperatures, and flux plated, which transfers power. Then you've got your flux ducts. You got your basic, your tier 2, your tier 3, your tier 4, and your tier win. So we will get into servos first. I will give you some demonstrations of either. So I can't really go into the pipes without the servos or the servos without the pipes, so kind of just going to jump into one of them. And I'm going to pick servos. So let's servo it up. No, let's serve it. I'll meet you over here. Alright, so we are going to look at servos. So what a servo does is you put it on one of the ends and you tell it to go. Now this is the lowest tier servo, so it'll take a long time to actually start pulling stuff in. So what this will do is when it's receiving a redstone signal, depending on how you have the redstone control set, it will pull items out. You also have some options you can put and how much you want to pull. Now the other option is filters. So if you put a filter on there, why did it stop? Never mind, it's just really slow and had to recalculate. Set that to a whitelist. Oh, look at that. Now it's backed up. Okay, well now I broke it, but you see what it does. It filters. Now by it being a whitelist, fix. I want stone to go in there. Problem solved. So now stone is allowed to go in there. Let's mix it up a bit. Retriever. So, if the servo is the push, the retriever is the pull. You put the retriever where you want something to go, and it will pull it to there. Now, an important thing to note about all three of these is they will aim at the closest target. So if I put a chest over here, the pusher, the servo, will push to this chest. Just like the retriever will pull from this chest. They won't care about this unless these two are no longer an option, if they're full or if they're out, depending on what they're trying to do. So, how do you make these? God damn it. There. So this is the recipe. It's the same recipe for all of them. The only difference is you have to switch over to hardened glass at this point. Yeah. Once you start using the electrum, you have to start using hardened glass. And then you've got iron, invar, electrum, selenium, and resonant. Same for these, except they use paper. Other than that, exact same recipe. And this, and derium, I have ender. So this is a little pricey, but remember, you get 9 of these from 1 ingot. And 1 ingot's not that bad to make. It's kind of rough, but it's not that bad in the long run. Now, why are there different versions? Well, quite simply, amount. This is 4 individual pieces every 3 seconds. Now, it looked a little quicker than that, but it also will only pull from a single slot. So if you have a bunch of individual items that don't stack, or something along those lines, or have them all spread out, or if there's only 2 left and then it goes on to the next stack, it will finish that stack. It will not move to the second slot, that operation. And that doesn't change. See, they start getting faster and faster to selenium. The retrievers are exactly the same, by the way, and they work the exact same for fluids. The only difference is for blacklisting and all that, you need to use a bucket of the fluid. But they also get a speed boost at selenium and indium, that 2 and 3 times respectively. Makes them go a lot quicker. Pair that up with impulse, you have a really, really fast system. Now, these have this similar item sorting, but they don't have the limits because they're just filters. With these tools, you could make a very robust sorting system. You're approaching stuff like logistics pipes. If any of you ever played with that mod, that was a long time ago, but that used to be the thing, and now you can do it with this, which is really, really fascinating. I only realized that these were even here just recently while I was setting up for this, because it's kind of part of it is looking up all that stuff. And these are really powerful. I'm going to start using these a lot more. So I showed you this using the item ducts. They work the exact same for fluid ducts. But now I'm going to go into the actual item ducts. So I will be back in a second. I'm going to go set up some stuff. Alright, so you're going to be going on to item ducts now. So here you've got your stone. Now, all item ducts and fluid ducts, and that includes the powered ones, come in an opaque and a regular variety. Just because I want to, I'm going to use the clear variety because they look cooler and you can see things. So, if you turn that on, that's going to eventually start pushing items to the closest chest. Now it should be noted that these are arguably distant because these have the impulse ducts. It will take the shortest path, not necessarily the quickest path. So item ducts duct in a very simple way. But if you look at the impulse item ducts, they move things quicker. That's literally all they do. So, you know, these are a little bit harder to make, but if you need them to go quicker, there's your option. Now, these are the warp in item ducts that move items instantaneously. It should be noted they do require power. They do also require the power to be on. I wanted to put the opaque ones to see what they looked like. Kind of crappy compared to that. Come on, that is some cool shit. Now, it should also be noted that these do contain power. They will not transmit it to machines. I already tried that. Now, if I turn that on, that is going. And you see it's blinking because it's instantaneous. There's no delay. There's no transit. There's no nothing. They do use up power when they do this, though. So, this is like the epitome of Jesus Christ, get that over there. Now, as for the recipes, your standard item ducts are hardened glass and tin. Fairly easy to make. The opaque ones are a little easier. You don't even need the hardened glass. Just 2 tin and a lead. Very, very easy to get early game. Combine that with the very easy to get servos, you have a very, very quick and easy system you can put in place. Impulse are a little different. You need to create... That's interesting. I forgot about that. I'll go over that in just a second because I haven't missed the note yet. So yeah, all you have to do is pump energized glowstone into an item duct to make it an impulse item duct. If you want to make it... Yeah, if you want to make the opaque ones transparent, or the transparent ones opaque, I believe. Yeah, you put it in either lead or hardened glass, depending on what you want to do. Warp is an item duct and an enderium. Really? That's it? Sorry, I actually thought that was harder than that. Yeah, so it'll make the kind that you originally had. You take an item duct and put the redstone in it to make it into fluctuating. So if you think about it for a machine, now you can pull the items out and deal with all that stuff with the same pipe that's using the energy. Oh, super easy. So that's basically item ducts in a nutshell. As for the dents, if you put a piece of lead dust, is it? Yeah, pulverized lead. So this will always take the shortest path. What that'll do is it'll artificially make that path longer, so that one block will count as like 10. So say you had an overflow chest. You want all the ore to go into this chest, and that chest, and this chest, and if you really have no place to put it here. And say maybe you wanted to put that in an easier place to reach it, close to the door, just put a couple of those there. It won't care. It will avoid that chest at all possible. So that's item ducts. They're very, very straightforward. It's how you use them that you can do some really cool things with them, because the tools are very manipulatable. So on to fluid ducts. Slightly more interesting of a show. Alright, we're going to take a look at some ducts. So you've got the temperate fluid duct, damn it, which can transport basically water. Then you've got the, oh, Jesus Christ. You have the hardened fluid duct, which can transport basically any liquid. That happened. It should also be noted, though, that the temperate fluid duct cannot transport super hot or super cold things. You see what happened when I tried to transport some gelid cryothium. We'll just leave that there for a moment. The other type of fluid duct. There you go. Jeez, it's exciting. Yes, super hot things. Is the flux plated? There's one over there. Or no, that's the one right there. Which can also transfer energy. So useful if you have machines that use fluids. Couple that with the item ducts energy transport. Super handy. It should also be noted that these do work with fluids just fine. The recipe: copper and glass for the temperate, copper and lead for the non-opaque version. The hardened's a little trickier: Invar and hardened glass, or Invar and lead for the opaque version. And then you've got your flux plated, which is just plain weird. Hardened fluid duct, selenium, and electron. Yeah, they're pretty simple and apparently quite explosive. Anyway, next will be the energy transmission, which will be very, very short. So I'm going to go set up. There she goes. Alright, so now we will be going over some energy transmission parts. So this is the basic one, the leadstone flux duct. So you notice that this is slowly charging at 200 RF per tick. Now remember, a tick, 20 ticks in a second, and that's just how Minecraft does their thing. So 20 times 200, add a 0, 2000 times 2, 4000. 4000 RF a second. Yeah, that looks about right. Alright, next is the redstone energy cell, or energy flux duct. 8,000 a tick, so that's an absolutely ridiculous upgrade. Then you have the resonant flux duct. I'll show you the recipes in a moment. This is going to be absolutely insane. Actually, nope, still not maxing out the creative energy cell. But it probably is maxing out itself. Yeah, it probably is. And this will be maxing out itself. That will be inputting at 32,000 RF per tick. In actuality, it can actually hold an infinity, or an infinite amount. There's just no limit. But it should be noted, see this? That has 192,000 RF. 48,000, 1,200. These store a buffer internally. This one does not. So, what can you do with some silliness? Now, I happen to know for a fact of the machines, I want to say the... Ooh, I'm actually not too sure these days. I think this one might have the most. The biggest buffer. What's that? 6,000. Nothing. I want to find something with a really, really big buffer. Magma Crucible should. Yeah. Oh. That's kind of fantastic. And doop, both full. Yeah. So that's what you can do with an infinite rate energy transmission. Now, it should be noted that most of these things do all interconnect to their own kind. Obviously, an item duct's not going to connect to a fluid duct, but these do connect internally. So I'm going to quickly show you the recipe. Leadstone top and bottom, lead, glass. And then this one's a little trickier. Electrum on either side and hardened glass will get you the shell. You then need to squirt redstone into it. Flux duct, you take these, the redstone ones, a little bit of redstone and enderium. I think you can also make them just... Oh, that's how you make the empty ones, yeah. Okay. So then you need to fill them, just the same. Now, this is a little different. So you take a fully built redstone, surround it in electrum, 4 hardened glass will get you one of these. So that's a 1-to-1. So each block is expensive. Then you have to pump half a bucket of gelid cryothium into it. Extremely expensive to make, but kind of absolutely hilarious. So if you have a massive network and you don't want to have to worry about transfer limits, or if you're working on like a main line between bases, or you know, something where it's necessary, or just as a trunk branch for a network, and then use one of the other ones to go off of that to the machine area, something like that. You know, use your imagination. I think that the hilariousness of this is quite useful. Yes, so that is the redstone red flux ducts. And that'll also wrap up the Ducts series, or the Duct episodes. That's all the different ducts that are supported in the new system. These used to be all part of one big mod. They are all being separated out. So this is standalone. If you don't want to work with any of the thermal expansion storage or machines and just want these, almost every mod now supports redstone flux as the energy source. So you are more than welcome to just grab this mod alone. Make sure to get the dependencies. You'll see it all on the site. I will link all that in the description. And yes, play around with the mod. Thanks for watching. I am Sand with Team Murder. Don't forget to, leave any comments you may have, or a private message. Comments are actually pretty good too, because if you have a question someone else has, we can answer all the questions at once. So like the video if you liked it, and I will see you next time.